We just thank the Lord that he is with us. He is our friend. He is our comforter. He is our strength. He is our refuge. I say he's our strong tower. I mean, he's your place where you get to stay away from the enemies. You get to stay away from you being destroyed. That he's a tower that's protecting you. And we thank God that we've been called to be his. So God, continue to set a fire down in our soul, Father, that we can't contain, that we can't control. We need more of you, Father. Just more of you, more of you, more of you. We don't want to see your hand, Father, but we want to see you face to face, Lord. We want to seek to be in your presence, Lord. Not going by every day, just passing by and different things and forgetting about the Lord. Let you be the first thing on our minds, Father. Let your will, let your desires, Father, be our desires. Let your heart, Father, be our heart, Father. Let us walk in your image, Father. Let us walk in your likeness, Father. Let the world see us on fire for you, Lord. Let our family, let our friends, let our other brothers and sisters in Christ see the fire of God burning within us, that it inspires them to want a relationship with you. It inspires them to stand stronger for you. Let us not be ashamed. Let us not be ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ, which is to save the lost, to heal the sick, to heal the broken, to give us life. Our Father is good. Our Father is awesome. Our Father is loving. And we thank him for this day. We thank you, Lord. We thank you. Now, the last few weeks, we've been talking about the warfare, the different armies of war, the different spiritual things we use for war to protect ourselves. And we was going through the different armor pieces. We was going through the shield of faith. We was going through the belt of truth. We was going through the sword of the spirit. We was going through the helmet of salvation. We was going through having our feet shod, having our feet covered with the preparation of the gospel of peace. And so we was going through the different armors of God that he has given us for the times we're living in and what we need to face every day to deal with our three enemies: our own flesh, Satan and the angels that fell with him, and the world system that is in place. And we're going through different weapons, but as you guys know, what's been happening in the last few weeks, especially what happened this week, a few days ago, and everything has been on news every 2 seconds, is about the new law passing from the Supreme Court, about the homosexual marriage law passing. And I remember when it passed, I just put up on my post, I said, no saint of God should be surprised about this. We should not be surprised when we know the time we're living in, that we know these things are coming to pass. But I remember I said, Lord, with me not being surprised about it, and I wasn't surprised, I was expecting it to happen. What was it that was so bothersome about it? That Lord, like, okay, what is going on with me? And he was saying it's because of the mourning in your spirit for how many will be lost. Because the more unrighteousness that open up, that the society says is acceptable, the more people that run to it. He says, so now there's more souls that will be lost that are going to be running to this and doing it because the world says it's okay. And people care about more about what the world says than what I say. So if the world said it was out of order, like it was just in the 2004 election when Obama and Hillary Clinton, everyone got up there and said, no, homosexual marriage, no, that's between a man and woman. It shouldn't be done between two men and two women. That shouldn't happen. And the world was, yeah, you know what, yeah, they're right. And yes, we're right. But now you're talking about just 13 years later, or you're talking about just a few years later, 9 years later and stuff. You go through, I'm missing the time, but it'll be 11 years later. There we go, 2015. So 11 years later. And now he's getting up and the White House is the colors of the gay symbol. And it's saying, wow. And you're looking at our country saying, what is going on in the world? You say, well, the Bible been said it was going to happen. So as people of God, we say, well, this is going to happen, this is going to come. And then what they do is that they use the things of God because they put the rainbow. They use the rainbow. Everybody know the rainbow, God put it out there for his promise and covenant with man that I will not destroy the world with water anymore, but I'll protect you from that. And so they take the things of our Father, and let me put Satan takes the things of our Father, because we wrestle now with flesh and blood. It's Satan using people. So Satan takes the things of our Father and blasphemes them. He makes them a joke and he mocks them and says, we're going to use this for something that's totally against God. And we're going to put it out there where God said male was never intended to do this. And we'll put it out there and say, we're going to take your covenant and say, we're going to make it our promise. We're going to make it our pride. We're going to make it our badge to just spit in the face of God. And these are the times we're living in. And so when you're going, and as I said, using our Father's covenant, as it says in Romans 1, for vile behavior that God calls an abomination, but they don't care. So that's what I was saying earlier, where God set a fire in us, then we have to move in a state of not caring. Only thing we care about is people knowing our Father and the love of our Father and who He is. That we stand strong, not when we're mean and vicious and tearing people down and stuff, but we speak the truth. You may not like me, you may not want to talk to me anymore, but it's a sin just like every other sin. Just because the United States says it's okay doesn't mean it's right. Just like when abortion passed. And they said, well, it's okay, we got abortion. No, God calls it murder. He said, I hate hands that shed innocent blood. We had over 50 million innocent children be killed since it passed in the 70s. 50 million. And them for the ones they can account for. 50 million murdered babies. So it's a thing at that point to say, well, the world says, okay, no, God says it's murder. And if we do it, we consider it murder. But it all goes back to saying this is why we all need Jesus Christ. So when you go, and I'm going to jump into the different things of warfare, because our weapon of warfare today is prayer. But with the time we're living in, it's funny because we've been breaking down the different weapons, and we was actually on the last one of prayer this week, coming up this week already before the bill even passed, and it seemed to fall right on time with exactly what's going on. So, but first I want to read from 2 Timothy 1 and 3. So we can remind ourselves not to be freaked out about what's happening, not to be confused, not to be wondering, man, Lord, where's your hand in this at? Where's that? He said, well, I spoke this over 2,000 years ago through my disciples, through Jesus Christ himself, what will be happening in the last days. So you go to 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1 through 7. So again, that's 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1 through 7. And it's Paul talking to Timothy, Timothy was a young pastor. He's letting him know about these are things that will be coming to happen in the last days. He said, this know also, so now he's giving them more information, that in the last days, perilous times shall come. That means great stress and trouble. For men shall be lovers of self and utterly self-centered. I'm reading from the Amplified. Lovers of money and aroused by an inordinate greed, desire for wealth. They'll be proud and arrogant and contemptuous boasters. That's what we're doing right now. People proud, gay pride. I'm proud, I'm arrogant, I'm boasting in my sin. Men boasting in all their sins. That's why we had the videos of people, I got chicks here, I got them doing all this. People are boasting in their sin. They bragging on it. We got shows made to boast about sin. And people love the shows. And some of us like the show, and it's boasting about the glory of sin. He says, they will be abusive. That means blasphemous. They will be scoffing. Blasphemy means to speak things that's utterly out of order with God. There will be scoffers. What? Mocking, laughing at us. Disobedient to parents. They will be ungrateful, unholy, and profane. They will be without natural affection. Human affection, I mean callous and inhuman. They won't care. Like we had the guy run into the church, shoot the guy, 9 people, didn't care at all. But we have it happen all overseas where people just murder people, chopping their heads all ice over, and they'll be callous. I don't care about you dying. 50 million abortions. Oh well, it's my body, I can do what I want. And people say, yeah, they want to kill them, they want to kill them. It's on them. And callous, inhuman. Like that didn't happen. Back in the day, people fought to have children before God. The women came and prayed because it was looking at you, your womb being blessed, the more children you had. So the Bible time, they fought to have children. Because they didn't, they looked at it was cursed. Look at how it flipped now. Now you look at this curse if you have more children. People try to make it look like you girl. Oh my goodness, that's ridiculous. What's wrong with you? But it's funny because young people always say that. Whenever we run into older people, they always tell us all the time, man, that is awesome. That is a blessing you guys had that many children. And I wish we didn't stop that early. That's what we constantly hear. I just was focused on career. I was focused on wondering if I was going to have enough money. So I cut off my seed, my generations, because, I was thinking about myself. But the world says, you're out of your mind. 1, 2 children, that is enough, and you need to stop, or you tripping. And this generation been set up for years because my parents went through it. Even though they had 8 kids and stuff, they had 13 of us all together, but they were going through the same thing that time. Well, what is wrong with y'all? Because their generation was the generation that said we're freeing ourselves from all that. Remember, our grandparents are the ones who had 13, 14, 15, 18 kids. But the generation after that, now we're freeing ourselves from all this stuff. Women know we're going to do our own thing now. Men, whatever, we're going to do it. So everybody said, I'm moving away from God, I'm moving away from church. But it's all been set up for God to say, for my return, what's going to be happening in those last days. So when you keep reading, it says, they'll be callous, they'll be relentless, admitting of no truth or appeasement. They will be slanderous. That means they always talk down, destroy, talk about each other, destroy others, lying on each other, false accusers, troublemakers, intemperate and loose in morals and conduct. Very loose in moral and conduct. Morals, what is a moral? What is right is right. If I feel it's right, then it's right. If you feel what's right is right, you do what you need to do. There's no setup of what is right and wrong anymore. That's just how it goes. If that's what's called, when you go into it, what you feel is right. It's called postmodernism thinking. When I was getting my master's degree in school, and we was going through it, it was called postmodernism. And it was going through that phrase and said, this is the way society will be set. Very soon, there will be a postmodernistic society. Whatever you feel is right is right. Whatever I feel is right is right. And they say, I'm like, what? And I remember my professor, and I told him, I said, that's the most ignorant thing I've ever heard in my life. I said, so what am I right? Say you're wrong. Am I still right? And he's like, well, I mean, it's all up to you. I said, but if I say you're wrong, then I mean you're wrong then. No, but if I said, so that means basically everybody's opinion has authority. Well, yeah. I said, so that means your opinion really has no authority then, because I say your opinion has no authority. And so I'm like, that's why God is the only absolute authority. He's the one that said what is right and what is wrong, because other than that, man says that man has no barriers for what is right and wrong, because we didn't create the world, we didn't create man. So at that point, it says, no, they are loose in their morals, uncontrolled and fierce. What do we see? The thing that people have it all on Facebook is the guy in front of the thing, and he says, I bet hell is fun. And he got a devil costume in front of the White House celebrating about the gay thing passing, the gay marriage. He got some devil horns on his head. They got all of them up there. I bet hell is fun. They don't care. And they out there tongue kissing or whatever. Hey, I want you to see how proud we are in our sin. We want the world to see we are proud of our sin. But don't you tell me you sin, though. You shut your mouth. You stay quiet. You shut up. What? My job is just to say what God says. Well, how about you and your God get out of here? Well, we're not. And when that time does come, you'll be sorry that we're gone. But that's the thing at that point, you keep going. It's an uncontrolled and fierce. Haters of good. I had people just putting up single posts, just things about God says marriage between a man and a woman. That's it. You talking about hundreds of comments. People attacking them. Don't judge. You what's name? You hating this and that. Going through. You what's name? You and I just all types of stuff, just dogging them out. And they say, I just put up what God's standards are. They can't come at God, so they got to destroy you. Haters of those that are good. What they call it? The great phrase. What speech? What speech do they call it? What speech?
Hate speech.
Hate speech. So you say something against homosexuality, it's hate speech. But wait. This phrase, why didn't it come up when the KKK was saying about blacks for years that we weren't using the phrase hate speech then, just racist, this and that, but all of a sudden, this movement comes, all of a sudden, that's hate speech. And now we could prosecute you and potentially send you to prison for hate speech. Whoa, hold on. What is going on here that this thing is so fierce? We got to understand Satan is moving behind it. Why? Because it's a total abomination before God. God made man to be with woman. It comes against his total creation of why he made man. So that's why Satan is so hard, pushing it so hard behind it, where people are like, oh, I don't get it. So many people are all saying, man, we've been dealing with, trying to fight for rights forever, and these people are jumping. What we've been dealing with for years, what is going on here? It's a man, you understand the push behind Satan has behind that? It's a total spit in the face of God. Of course he's going to push it extra hard. As people of God, we shouldn't be surprised. And of course they're going to look to flaunt in the front of you and say, yeah, look at me. He says, you don't got to answer to me. You don't answer me, you answer to God. My job is just like a police officer. Even though I give you the ticket, you got to answer to the judge. I let you know, hey, this is what the law says. If you break it, do what you want to do, you have to answer to the judge. That's on you. My job is to let you know what it says because I want to keep you safe. So you keep reading because Paul is not done yet. So we done first, haters of the good. They will be treacherous, betrayers. They'll be rash and inflated with self-conceit. That's what we see a lot. And just inflated with who I am and what I believe in, what I say is right. They will be lovers of sensual pleasures and vain amusements, more than and rather than lovers of God. So they'll be set up more so with, as I say, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures, more than lovers of God. And that's what we deal from on the major side is people say, I'd rather be pleased and just overdose myself with my pleasures and the pleasures of this world than love God. I want that more than God. I mean, it's just not the people who are in sin. We got people who are in the church and they deal with the same thing. Yeah, I hear all the God stuff, but I ain't trying to give up this. I ain't trying to give up that. I ain't trying because I want to please my flesh. And in order to, I got certain things I got to give up. I don't want to give up. So instead, I'm a lover of pleasure more than a lover of God. He says, so having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. So he flips it at the end. First, he's talking about how the world is going to be. But also, he's talking about the world, then he jumps to the church. He says, so the last times, he said they'll be lovers of themselves, of pleasure more than God. He said then they'll have a form of godliness. A form. And we're seeing that everywhere right now. But denying the power thereof, from such turn away. I can't tell you how many posts I saw of people up saying, I'm a lover of Jesus Christ. I live for him. And they got the gay rights symbol in their back of their screen. I'm very confused right now. How is this even possible? I'm about human rights. I'm about the kingdom of God. When you live for God, you're about his kingdom. It's not about him. Well, everybody should be happy. We're not here for people to be happy. I'm not here for you to be happy. I'm here to save your soul. And my thing is that what you don't get, and I'm going to read that later, is that you're wicked in God's eyes. God says to lead someone to destruction, you're wicked. So for me to say, well, I want you to be happy, but knowing your soul is going to go to hell for what you're living in, and all the stuff that's going to come with it, you're wicked. It's like me sitting out there and I say, well, my son came to me, he's smoking crack and shooting needles up his arm, but I want him to be happy. So you know what? He'll go another $500 to go out there and smoke some more crack and shoot needles in your arm. I know it's going to kill them. It's going to take their life, but they happy though. And we'll look at them like they're crazy and say, you don't love your child. Because if you loved your child, you would want him safe. You would not destroy him. And it goes the exact same way. If you loved your friend, if you loved your family member, if you say you love them, you'll be doing everything you can to keep their soul from destruction. But instead, you're pushing it. Let me put it up on my emblem in my background and then say, yeah, and I'm of God too. And I said, no, you're not. We got to start calling a spade a spade. No, you're not. I'm sorry. You can't. And that's when John starts talking about it. How can you say you're of God but you love evil? That can't be happening. If God's spirit is in you, you can't love evil. I'm not talking about tripping and falling into sin. That's different. But I'm talking about you loving evil and you move towards it and you push evil. You celebrate evil. I'm sorry, but you're not of God. That's not possible. That's impossible. If the spirit of God is in you, your heart and mind is set to please God. That's the difference. When people say, well, we all have sinned, it say yes, but the difference with me is that I've come to God about my sin and said, Lord, now I live for you, Lord. I understand my sin is out of order and it's wrong, Father. So now I live for you. The difference with you saying, here's my sin, accept my sin. I'm not changing my sin, and this is the way I'm going to be. And so what? In your face, if you don't believe in it or whatever, oh well. You're coming to God, as we said, proud, boasters, heady, lovers of pleasures. I don't care what you say, God. And this is the big difference right here. So when people say, yeah, we all have sinned, say, yeah, the difference with me is that I have come to God and I have surrendered because I know I've sinned. You're saying, whatever, God, you're giving him the middle finger and saying, you're going to accept what I say and do. Who are you? You're just a man. You're nobody. So at that point, we got to get in a place of saying, hey, your feelings might be hurt, but I care about your soul more than your feelings. That's how it works. It's like your child who want to play in the street. You say, well, and you say, oh, I'm just going to let him play in the street because he enjoy it. And it's so much fun. The cars coming, he love around the street. No, you'll go out there, snatch them up. And if they keep playing, you're going to beat their butt. They may cry, may scream, I want to go on the street. No, I know you want to, but I'm not going to let you just go out there and destroy yourself. I'm going to do everything I can. But if it's a grown person, you can't snatch them up. But you let them know, hey, man, hey, you don't want to do that. That's going to destroy you. Stay away from that. You hear about them talking about, yeah, man, I found this new business online, this and that. And you just heard the new business was a Ponzi scheme. You didn't say, oh, you dealing with what now? Oh, man, this new thing, they're red dragon, this and that. They supposed to help boost your investments. Oh, that was just on CNN News. That's a Ponzi scheme. What? Even though they're all excited about this new thing they have, they're going to make money, woohoo. You say, oh, that's a Ponzi scheme, man. Don't do that. They're going to take all your money. They're like, oh, thanks, man. You didn't care about them being excited. You wanted them safer, them losing just their money. We're talking about people's souls right here. So, they might be excited about it, this and that. You say, man, it's out of order with God. And that's sin. No matter how the world chop it up, cut it up, it remains sin no matter what.
I feel like one of the most difficult things for saints is that the media and this whole push is saying that if you don't accept the lifestyle, then you're not loving them. Then you're not treating them, well, like the Bible says we should treat each other well and we should love each other and everything like that. Can you clarify that? Can you,
the way to clarify it is simple. Okay, I got a coworker who is gay. Am I going to treat them any different than anyone else? No. I'm coming just like, if they need some help, so I'm going to help them. They want to talk about something, we could talk and everything. But then when it comes to them if they come in to try to impose their thing that's out of order with God on me, then at that point I have to say, oh, no, I'm sorry. I can't do that. That's out of order with God. Right. This and that and everything else. And they may be talking about, marriage and all that stuff. And you sitting there while they talking about them married or they're talking about, I'm this and that. And they talking about their sin. Inside, you're dying. Because you're like, oh, my goodness, they're going to lead to destruction. But sometimes we got to say, like, man, I know you're excited about it. But, dude, it's out of order with God. It's out of order with God. It's sin. Just like I had sin that was out of order with God. And I had to come to him and say, you know what, Lord? I'm out of order and I'm wrong. And you're the only one that can make me right. And they said, well, I don't care what God says and this and that and everything. What does it say? Paul said it. And he said in the Old Testament, so the dust is off my feet. Your blood is no longer on my head. It's on your own. So at that point, it's not on me anymore. I'll let you know, but at that point, I still want to treat you with love. Still want to be kind to you. Why? You actually got to say to him, your blood is on your head. I mean, Paul actually said it, though. He actually said, well, your blood is on your hands. So you actually, Paul said it, we might actually need to say it now, because instead of saying, that's just thing, you might say, well, your blood is on your hands now. My job is to warn you. And if they're real haughty about it, they say, well, okay, I don't care. It's on my hands. Like the Jews did when Pilate told them after he washed his hands about crucifying Jesus, his blood is on your hands. They said, well, let it be on our hands, on our children's, the children's hands. You notice they cut those from all the movies. Because they say it pushes anti-Semitism. And then now people say, man, why did the Jews go through what they went through? Well, read what happened in the Bible. They said, let the blood of Christ be on our heads and on our children's head and our children's head for generations. And they spoke a curse over their people. And then you see what they went through. And it's like, oh my goodness, why? Because also the enemy, the devil, wanted to destroy them. Because he knew if he could wipe out children of Israel, how could you ever have the coming of Christ? Because Israel couldn't have a land then. So I'm going to do everything I can to wipe them out at the same time. But they moved themselves from under God's protection. So God wasn't cursing them, but they moved themselves from under his protection. And now they became open season for the enemy to attack. And so when it comes to that, yes, you treat them love. It's not, somebody in the flat tire, you get out, they gay, I'm getting back in my car and driving. No, you don't do nothing like that. Because the same way they get out, they can be somebody got their girlfriend in the car and they fornicating. Okay, I'm gonna still help them out. Just like you have a brother, I have brothers and everything that were doing stuff. And they're like, yeah, it's me and my girlfriend. No, I'm sorry, y'all can't come stay at my house. My children can't see that type of stuff. Oh, hey, me and my house, we serve the Lord. I'm an example. I gotta be accountable to God about, what they see and what I allow around them. Oh man, I'm sorry, I can't do it. Oh, okay. I remember my grandma, she's always going to bring her cigarettes or beers or whatever to the house with grandpa. My parents say, no, you can't bring that in my house. Come on, your kids almost. He said, you can't bring it in my house. It's my job. I have to answer to God later, and you're not going to bring that around my kids. And so it's the thing at that point, when they're innocent, they love them. Why? Because they were sitting there taking care of them. But certain things, it's funny because people respect you more when you truly stand for your standard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They actually respect you more. When like I talked about when I had my professor who was gay, and a whole class, and it was me against my whole class in college. It was me by myself. But every day you had people there, like we was talking about on the boards, you know, Jesus this, Jesus. They said Jesus more than I said it. Everything had something to do with God and Jesus. Then it went down in the classroom where they're talking about homosexual rights, and all of them are quiet, and I'm the only one standing for God. And it wasn't nothing to boast about, because I'm sitting there while they're talking about it. As we said, let your fire burn in me. The fire God was just burning. And I'm like, and what it was burning in the sense of, oh, this mess, students mess crazy. All I'm thinking about is all the people being lost and being deceived. And I'm like, these people can't be lost. These people are going to be deceived. I have to say something. So I had to start speaking up about how I was out of order here. This is out of order. No matter what you say about this, it's still wrong. When it comes to God, it's set in stone. And not just saying that, but I was also giving logic behind why it's out of order. And it's not too hard to give logic. Mm-hmm. It's nature. Nature shows you it's wrong. So you don't got to have no big old science degree and now I got 5 doctorates. Dude, I can look at nature and know. That's why when I said something, hey Joe, turn the mic up. And so I know that's why I said something to my children about it, about what passed and the bill passing. They had a crazy look on their face. Like, what? And they were so confused about it because they were, okay, there we go. So they were so confused about it because they were sitting there and they were like, hold on, that's not even right. Why? Because they understand nature. Nature shows a man and a woman, not a man and a woman supposed to be together, not a man and a woman. That makes no sense. People say, well, Jesus never spoke on it. I'm just giving y'all some different things that people throw out there. Jesus never spoke on it. Actually, Jesus, I love how God spoke because he covered everything in one. He would say, when they asked about marriage, he said marriage is between one man and one woman. Then he went back all the way to Adam and Eve to go back to the beginning of how God said it. It's a side note. What's the name? So he went all the way back to the beginning to say how God said it. He said he made Adam and Eve. And for that he made a covenant that was not supposed to be broken. And I love when Jesus does that way because what he did when he went back to Adam and Eve, he said he didn't make Adam and 2 little boys. He didn't make Eve and 3 men next to her. He didn't make Adam and 5 women next to him. He didn't make Adam and another man. He didn't make Eve and another woman. He made 1 man, 1 woman. And that was the order God set. So he said, this is the order. Anything else is out of order. And that's how when people say, how did Jesus? He never actually, no, he spoke by him saying that one thing. He spoke against all of it. And then he said, well, okay, well, I don't see the New Testament. You got 1 Corinthians 6:9. God said, no, he goes through, he said, no fornicator, no idolater, no liar, no homeowner, no homosexual shall inherit the kingdom of God. Then you go to 1 Timothy 1:10. He says it again. Then you go to Romans 1. He says God given them to vile affection. And he's and because they changed his truth to a lie, he has given them over to their lust. And man burns in his flesh with man, one form. So it's been constantly spoken, so it hasn't changed throughout the Bible. Yes.
You know what? On that subject, I just a new guy just got hired. It's a young guy. There's certain, clothing and different things that they wear. Being a guy, you don't wear like super tight stuff.
Yeah.
And there's a girl that I recently hired, and he goes, straight to her. Of course, I guess they can relate to her more, and he, begins to tell her that he's gay, and then he begins to speak on the gay rights thing and whatnot. And he's like, do you think anybody else around here knows that I'm gay? And she comes straight to me, it's just like, well, I don't really know how to handle this, but I know it's wrong. I know it's wrong. And she's like, I told him it was wrong, and she's like coming to me, like, well, what should I say? What should I do? And I gave him some scriptures to give to him, and what I'm asking is I'm trying to use wisdom, of course, on all hands, because being, supervisor, so on and so forth, I have to set a tone.
Yeah.
But I have to, of course, let my light shine.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So in wisdom, in a situation like that, how would you come to a young guy like that?
Well, it'll be the same way if the same way a supervisor or someone would use it with us. If they were talking to someone, they were uncomfortable about it, and we talk to somebody about God all the time, and they were uncomfortable, and they went supervise about it. Supervisor would pull us in the room and say, "I know you're excited about your faith, but you know, at certain times at work or whatever, especially if it's doing work time, if it's doing break time, you can talk about whatever at that point. They just can't, you know, don't have the conversation. But if it's doing work hours, you know, when you're talking about this, it's, you know, you keep it about business, about work at that point. If it's doing work stuff, because at that point, you know, we're supposed to be handling business at that point. It's the same way we get called in the room, we talking about Christ, and all of a sudden it's doing work, and somebody's uncomfortable, like, well, you know, at this point, I understand you're excited about it, but, you know, you got to just wait to break time or whatever, or, you know, this person's not comfortable with it. And so even at that time, you might want to talk to one person first before you even go to the person, unless they're too uncomfortable to say, just let them know that, you know, you really don't want to talk about that, you're not comfortable talking about it. And, you know, you can always try that route first, or the next route is they're like, nah, I don't want to deal with it all. Then you actually will go into the person because you want everybody to be in a comfortable work environment.
Right.
And so we keep it about business while we're there.
But this is the thing, the reason why I feel like I needed to deal with it is because one of the new clients came to me and said that he basically, you know, propositioned him.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, well, this needs to be dealt with.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, I'm not, you know, our nation, hey man, you can't, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to come off, you know, like stereotypically, you know.
And,
so he could twist it and be like, he's hating on me because I'm gay.
and in the same
know.
way, it's funny because the same way you flip it, you'll flip the same way you handle it. If it was a male, one of your male workers proposition a female client, and a female client came to you uncomfortable, like, they proposition me, come here, I'm very uncomfortable. You go to them like, what are you doing? Like, you're here to work. You're not here to do that. And everything, be about your business, be about your P's and Q's. We're not here for that right now. That's out of order. If you keep doing it, it's going to be a problem. You know, when they understand, like, oh, okay, if they knew, maybe it's not, you know, where you coming out of their heart, but the first time, at least let them know, listen here, you're here for work. You know, your life, what you do in your personal time or whatever, people, you bring it real quick. You gotta treat the client. They're here as a client. We're not trying to lose clients. We're trying to build this business. So focus on the business at hand. So just the same way you handle, like if it was a male worker, proposition a female client and she's very uncomfortable, you come to them and talk to them the same way how you would, because no matter what, people want to find anyway, just like some people feel that black people are real quick, you know, you doing this because I'm black,
right?
You know, and everything like,
right.
What, man, whatever, dude. It has to do with this and that.